Hello everybody and welcome back to Lost Planeswalker. You're here with me, Jesse, the Lost Planeswalker, and today I want to give a brief but informative look at Aetherdrift, what we know about the products, the cards, and what is happening in this set to begin with. So starting off with the products, we have the usual assortment of products with the new set symbols, and personally I'm not a big fan of the flag. I feel it's kind of silly, and I think it could have been more creative, but that's what we're getting. We also, for the first time in a very long time, have received the MSRP for the products. So right now, showing you, we got play boosters at $5.49 a pack, collector boosters are at $25, commander decks $45, bundles $54, and then the finish line bundle at $80. I'm not sure what the prices for the products were before, but honestly these seem a little high to me. By them calling out the MSRP, they might have actually secretly increased the prices again. But let's move on to the products and see what you can expect. First off, play booster will only include 30 packs instead of the 36 we're used to, which is kind of nice because they were getting rather expensive, with some of the boxes costing like $150. That seemed quite a lot. This is good, but if we look at the MSRP breakdown, 30 packs at $5.49, we're getting about $164.70 per box. Now, of course, some shops will offer a discount if you buy a box, but still $160, $165 for a box of cards is just too high. Now, each of the play booster boxes and the collector booster boxes will have one box topper pack. This first place box topper will have a first place foil land, and then one out of 127 other cards in the first place foil. We haven't received any information on what these foils look like yet, but as we move into spoiler season starting this week, I'm sure we're going to see that very soon. Like I mentioned, collector boosters are next, and they're very similar to what we've received in the past. 12 packs, $25 pack, but we'll also be getting a first place foil box topper pack included. Now moving on to commander decks, it was interesting to me that they're only actually releasing 2 commander decks with this set, which they haven't done for a while. The 2 decks are Living Energy, which is green, blue, and red, which is obviously an energy deck, and Eternal Night, white, blue, black. I can't wait to learn more about these decks and how these commanders work because they actually look very, very cool. Next up, we'll be moving on to the bundle boxes, and like I mentioned, we're going to be receiving 2 types of bundles, the base bundle box and then the finish line bundle. That adds some new products that we haven't received in bundle boxes before. Like the regular bundle box, includes everything you would expect. And now looking at the first place bundle box, we're going to get 6 Aetherdrift play boosters, 2 Aetherdrift collector boosters, which normally these special bundles just come with 1, 20 basic lands, 15 traditional foil lands, and 5 first place foil lands, 3 finish line bundle promo cards, which each of them has a traditional foil extended art card with a new artwork, so that's interesting, 1 first place foil box topper pack, 5 stickers, 1 oversized spin down, and of course the card storage box. This to me seems like a wild assortment of some new products, and I'm not sure if all of these are going to be, what we expect to see in these special bundles moving forward, but time will tell. And as always, the last product are the pre-release kits that are standard, your regular 6 packs, special promo cards, and spin down for playing pre-release. One of the things that was most exciting to players was the return of MSRP to products, because players will now have more options and more insight to the products that they are buying. And I'm not really sure if we're happy to see that. I'm interested to see how this set sells. They are pushing it by, giving box toppers, and maybe that is an incentive because they know they raised the prices, but player feedback will have to come once this set is fully released. Now, moving on to the story, let's take a quick look and see what happened to these planes since the Phyrexian invasion, who's going to be racing, and what the grand prize is for winning the Galloper Grand Prix. Aetherdrift is the first set to cover 3 different planes at once. Now, of course, we had March of the Machine, but this time we're just talking about these 3 specific planes, and we're getting actually a pretty intense amount of lore just about these planes. Avishkar, once known as Kaladesh, went through a revolution after the Aether Revolt, the last set in this plane. While some issues were fixed, the system as a whole was unchanged, and when the Phyrexian invasion happened, the old regime was replaced by an Indigo Revolution, changing the political structure in the name of this plane. With the power shifted away from the wealthy and influential, Avishkar was able to flourish, and one of their new pastimes became racing. Illegal at first, these races and racers were operating under the law and funded by criminal organizations. Gonti became a pretty important person in Avishkar after the revolution, and the races transformed into the plane's favorite kind of entertainment, evolving to a legal status and becoming the Galloper Grand Prix. Now more than ever, teams not only from Avishkar, but all over the multiverse were looking for fun and to call themselves the best racing team and in turn the best plane. The stage is now set for the second Galloper Grand Prix, where we're heading from Avishkar to Omenpaths to Muruganda, then back through Omenpaths, finishing in Galapur on Avishkar. Talking about these other planes that want to prove themselves, we're returning to Omenpaths, a set and plane that has received invasion over invasion, ravishing this plane to its rock bottom. But we do fortunately see that this plane, once again, thriving, with the living and the dead working side by side to return Omenpaths to its former glory. Omenpaths, like the other two planes, is having a reawakening, and there's too much information for me to cover in this video alone, so if you're a fan of lore or just want to know what's happening, check out the videos that I'll be creating in the coming weeks about each of these planes and what you can expect from them. For now, all you need to know is that Omenpaths has a team in the race that's ready to show the rest of the planes that they are back and ready to win. Muruganda is one plane we know so little about and receive so much new information on. This is the only one out of the 3 planes hosting this race that will not have a team actually racing in it. Muruganda actually seems like more of a trial for the racers, as the different powerful groups of this plane want to stop this race from happening, so the racers are going to be very careful avoiding all of the traps that Muruganda and its people have laid out. So now let's get back and see these racing teams and what we can expect. Teams racing in the Galapur Grand Prix had to qualify from the other 6 lower divisions to bring the best of the best into the final Grand Prix. The 10 teams that will be racing are the Aether Ranger from Avishkar, the Champions of Omenpaths, obviously from Omenpaths, the Cloudspire Racing Team, a group of engineers and racers from Kylam that are now based in Avishkar, the Guidelight Voyagers, which are a team of robots who come from an unknown plane, the Speed Demons, coming from Duskmorn, trying to win the grand prize in order for Valgavoth to potentially leave this plane, the Goblin Rocketeers, a group of goblins ready to do whatever they can to go as fast as possible, the Elysian Quick Beasts, who are using their bonds with animals versus machines to win this race, the Speed Brood, a group of insectoid people from an unknown plane coming to show how powerful they are, the Keen Haulers, a group of fishmen and shark-like people who want to do as much breaking the rules as possible, and then the End Raiders, a group of gasoline-hungry raiders on the eternal quest to find the endless drive. These 10 teams have surprised me, and there's a lot of really deep diversity between these teams that I think is going to make this set a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be a lot more gimmicky, and it's really not. Other than the End Raiders, the rest of these teams seem really unique, and I'm very excited to see more about these. If you want to know more about each of these teams, you can also check out the video I did covering them, where they're from, and their aspirations for winning the race. Now, every race needs a prize, and this prize comes from deep within the old council's vaults, called the Aether Spark. This is a Planeswalker spark that has been contained in a vessel. Chandra Nalar has joined the Cloudspire Racing Team in the hopes of winning this Aether Spark so she can give it to Nissa to allow her to once again planeswalk. But unfortunately, that's not the only person who wants this prize. Winter from Duskmorn has been forced to race by Valgavoth himself in order to win the Aether Spark. By using the Aether Spark, Valgavoth can potentially escape his bindings on Duskmorn, and if that happens, who knows what kind of trouble he'll get into. Now that we have the story covered, let's now look at the few cards we've gotten revealed. Starting off with Duretti, Rocketeer Engineer, Bright Glass Gearhulk, and Earth Rumbler. Duretti Rocketeer Engineer is 4 in a red, legendary creature Goblin Artificer. Duretti's power is equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Whenever Duretti enters or attacks, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return the chosen card to the battlefield. So Duretti in the past has had very similar abilities, but we can see that this is the desparked Duretti. I think that there's a lot of really fun gameplay that can be made with Duretti, especially if you like pulling big artifacts out of your bin for free. And if you'd like to check out my video I did on Duretti as a commander, I'll link it in the description below. Moving on to Bright Glass Gearhulk, green, green, white, white. Artifact creature construct with first strike and trample. When this creature enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifact creatures and or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. I am quite interested in what people will be searching for. There's obviously a lot of great hits, artifacts, creatures, and I'm not sure about enchantments. I don't think there are any 0 cost ones, but there's a lot of really cool stuff you can get, and this is a very powerful card with a kind of tricky casting cost, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of decks this falls into. And then Earth Rumbler, 4 in a green artifact vehicle with vigilance and trample. Exile an artifact or creature card from your graveyard. This vehicle becomes an artifact until the end of turn. Crew for 3. This is a vehicle I'm very excited about. I'm always looking for cards for my Greasefang Pioneer deck, and I can see this as a pretty viable option. Pulling this out of the bin with Greasefang, placing it on the battlefield, you immediately can get through with Trample, or if you're able to cast it for only 5 mana, which isn't that expensive, you have a big vehicle on the battlefield, and you're already milling a ton of artifacts and creatures that you can then just exile to make this become a creature. Now, on top of all of the box toppers and everything else, the buy a box promo for this set is Lifecraft Engine. This is a 3 generic artifact vehicle with, as this vehicle enters, choose creature type. Vehicle creatures you control are the chosen creature type in addition to their other types, and then each creature you control of the chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. This is not only going to buff up our entire board, it's going to buff up all of our vehicles and makes a very cool lore type effect, letting you choose whatever you want to buff up. So I think this is going to be a very powerful card, and while it's not going to be played everywhere, I'm very excited to see people start brewing with this card. We will also be receiving an assortment of unique lands because of how this set is designed, where we're getting one of each land type for each of the 3 planes we'll be visiting. Aetherdrift was an idea that when it was first spoiled, I was not a huge fan of. The idea that Magic had moved so far away from its roots and now we're racing with Tron-style bikes was a hard adjustment. But as I learned more, I realized that Wizards are just as big a fan of this game as we are. Maybe my first impression was not great, but the lore and learning more about these teams and the story, I fell in love with this set and what kind of great things it can bring to the game. Vehicles are one of my favorite types of artifacts, and I'm so excited to get a bunch more from this set, and I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you're just as excited as I am to see what's next. Stay tuned and check out the other videos I'll be making, whether it's lore or spoilers or commander deck grade upgrade guides. I'd really appreciate it. I'm very much looking forward to see how this set will develop, and I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to most from this set. And if you'd like to help support me in another way, please leave a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe. And if you enjoy the videos I make, check out my Patreon. I really appreciate it. Now, today's Scryfall card of the day is Pull from Tomorrow. I do things in my own time. Eta Initiative of Ret Corp. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you later, Planeswalkers.